All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. The conversation begins right now. We are asking the youth how you are coping. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. We'd like to hear your views on an array of issues, the direction the government is taking, the recommendations you make going forward, your hustle especially. What is it all about? How has it changed? Which direction would you like it to take? Let me introduce my guest, starting from the upper deck on my farthest right. George Nyaseme is here, Matatu driver. Asante sana for making time. We have Sylvia Chalo, CEO Darren Marketing. Thank you very much for making time. We have Frederick Odhiambo, a shoe vendor. He uses the hashtag buy shoes. Asante sana for making time. Okay. On the lower deck, we have Zaina Kombo, convener, Youth Serving Organizations of Kenya. Thank you very much for making time. And we also have Kevin Mubadi, National Chairperson, Boda Safety Association of Kenya. Asante sana for making time. And Zaina, I'll start with you on this. What is your assessment of the direction the government is taking? Is it in the right direction or the wrong direction, as a young person yourself?
I feel it's the wrong direction because they're using a combative approach, which might not solve the situation. I would encourage the government to listen to the youth, to listen to those that are protesting, to listen, because if they listen, there won't be violence and there won't be distraction. Yeah.
Listen to the youth. What are the youth saying according to you?
The taxes are high, including those that are in the creative industry. We all know that we have a challenge with unemployment. So the youth have decided they want to be creative. They want to shoot videos. But for instance, in Nairobi, you have to pay 5,000 to shoot a video at Uhuru Park. And that's a message I've been asked to relay to Governor Sakaja to consider the youth.
Wasn't that scrapped, though?
This is a recommendation that I've been told just last night when this post was taken out. So I feel if the youth say something, the government should consider, and the cost of establishing SMEs is too high. If you have high taxes on fuel, as much as we have the Finance Act suspended, we are still feeling the pinch on the economy because of taxes. People are unable to even be creative because of mental health and other consequences that are coming out of the stresses of the economy.
So do you support the protests?
I do support responsible protests, meaning we should protest, but without violence, considering the rights of others and acknowledging our obligation. Yes.
Okay. Kevin, what are your thoughts? Which direction is the government taking? Is it the right direction or the wrong direction?
I think it is the wrong direction because whenever there is chaos in any place, there's no peace. And where there's no peace, we can't say that we are heading in the right direction. So my call is let's pull up our socks and have peace. Peace is the most important thing that we as Kenyans can enjoy. Because when you look at what happened, was it on Friday? Was it on Monday? It was a lot of chaos, a lot of distraction that will not happen again in our country. We should not watch. So for me, I think the government is not heading in the right direction. Not even the government, the country, because the country is not heading to the right direction. So we should make a bow-turn and think twice.
Okay. Yeah. So do you support the protest or not?
No, for me personally, I don't support the protest because my people depends on movement. Okay. So if there is no movement, that means my people will not make a living. And if they are not making a living, they're sleeping hungry, they have children to feed, they have obligation to accomplish, so we don't. Okay. 100%.
Okay. Fred?
We all know the country is not going in the right direction, considering everything that is going on, that is affecting a lot of us in business. We are not able to do deliveries. We cannot be able to open our shops. But I just probably ask the two leaders if they could probably consider sitting and discussing all the issues they have with each other or for the sake of the country so that we can actually move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a shoe vendor yourself, how have the protests affected you?
We are not able to open shops, and that means we are not in business. And being not in business affects our final turnover of our business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sylvia, which direction is the country heading in your assessment?
As a business person, I'd say that the country is not heading in the right direction. Number one is the youth are distressed. The country itself is distressed. So even working has become an issue. It's very hard to plan on meetings. It's very hard, again, to move when the country is chaotic. So I feel like both parties should play a role where the youth, we need to look at how are we protesting? How are we addressing our issues? At the same time, is the government listening to us? What are some of the ways the government can help us? Or rather, what are some of the ways the government can listen to ensure that the country is at peace?
Yeah.
So I don't think we are heading the right direction. In fact, if we continue this way, things are going to be bad, and we'll still feel like we are living in the COVID era. We are still past COVID, but at this point, we need to make things, or rather, we need to improve the economy, but we're still stagnating.
Yeah.
So clearly, we are not in the right direction.
How has this affected your business in terms of dealing with clients? Has it been affected in any way?
Well, clients are feeling, or rather they're afraid to commit because they cannot agree to a certain period in terms of contract. They do not want to remove money for marketing because what is the point of marketing your business but things are not moving? People don't have money. People cannot acquire products. So, yeah, we are being affected.
Okay. George?
Yep.
What is your assessment of the direction the country is heading? Is it the right direction or wrong direction?
Governor yendi direction fiti.
Kwa nini?
Governor jobs napotea usiku na mchana. Life inakuwa hard daily. Kwanza mi sekta yangu ya matrijo. Hii mafuta inapandizwa usiku na mchana jo, inafanya jo like job inakuwa tu hard.
So makastoma wanawaambia nini aswa, especially mkipandisha bei ya matri, wanakuambiaje?
So kama unajua gari inafanya nayo, gari inafanya nayo wangali ina price yake fixed. Sema kama 100 throughout. So tuseme kama zile zingine ziko 70 bob ama 80 bob, zikipandishwa kama so, unajua hako fiti. Unajua mimi siwezi ongeza that 20 bob ama 10 bob.
Juu tayari ulikuwa hapo kwa so.
Juu imekuwa tu so throughout. So ukiongeza 20 bob, it makes sense, unaona?
Yeah. Lakini sasa nyinyi mkienda home by the end of the day, ile do ulikuwa na get tuseme kama last year na saizi imepungua kiasi gani? So ukinipea range kama ulikuwa na get 3,000, saizi imekuwa ni 2,000, ama imekuwaje sasa? Ile yako ya kupeleka home, achana ile unapelekea mzae.
So unachikisa vile mafuta inapandishwa. So unachikika example before COVID, nilikuwa nenda home na mshahara tu fiti, unaona? Alafu ikakuja after COVID pia mafuta ikapandishwa. So unachiki mwenye dinga tujilake iko tu, unaona? Yena expect loss, yana juanga tu ni profit throughout. Mafuta na ikishapanda, alafu najua pia ido yangu lazima sasa inapotele kwa mafuta hapo, unaona? Sasa ikipandishwa kama 5 bob, kuna ka changes kidogo. Sasa hii ya juzi ndio ilikuwa kama finali. Hiyo vile mafuta ilipandishwa karibu 10 na so unachikipa mshahara ikapotea hapo yote.
So nyinyi mnaduaje kusurvive? Because ulikuwa unaniambia mwenye dinga yeye anataka do yake ile na mafuta imepanda bei. So itabidi upige trips kadhaa ama maskudi mingi ama nini?
Zile hakuna hata trip kadhaa. Unaweza enda kama kile kwa trips kama 11, new to 11. Sasa tu ni ujanja yako, unaona? Sasa unaweza cheza na mafuta pia. Unaelewa? Sasa kuna do inabaki kwa mafuta hapo tu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maliba. Arnold Maliba is now joining us late as always, policy analyst. Thank you very much for making time.
Not as always.
In your assessment, which direction is the country taking? Is it the right direction or the wrong direction?
I think since elections, the country has not really taken off, and it's really a bad thing that we've refused to move on from the decisions we made. I think as a people and young people generally, we decided that we wouldn't go to war after elections, as it has been the norm since 2007. But there seems to be a segment of a few people who have really not moved on from then, because it's true the cost of living is high. The cost of living was high last year. The cost of living was high in 2021. COVID messed up things. And the cost of living now, no one is denying that it's actually bad. But then now the political problems we now have make things worse. Because like he's just said, if he's supposed to work, there are people and quite a big population in our country that depend on the daily economy. That if I don't go out, I will not get what to have for my children and myself. So even as we quote unquote say that we are going to the streets for them, that mama mboga who was supposed to sell, that conductor, that driver who was supposed to run a certain number of trips to actually get something, they miss on that particular day. So for every town where there have been maandamanos that quote unquote are effective, people have not made things easy. Two, even as we speak about a few things that are not working, when you go to the street, the markets don't know how to actually respond according to political wishes. Markets always preserve themselves. Like, for example, when we had the Finance Act passed 2023, then the court make the decision as they have done, whether people at EPRA raise the prices or not. One thing is actually obvious, that business people will want to protect themselves because the government is not in the business of actually doing business. It's only an enabler and in some instances a regulator. So what will happen that if you are to tell guys, okay, don't mess with the prices, automatically the marketers, the oil marketers and the other people pull back on, they hoard the product. And when they hoard the product, the price will still go high. So the political instability, the polarization that is going on, in some instances is actually has gone ethnic now. We've stopped now demonstrating about the cost of living. We've moved on, and you've seen what has actually been happening on the border between Kisumu and Kericho. It is something we need to speak to and say that when you start these things, it's easy to start, but it goes down. And I need probably just to finalize on this particular first submission by saying, somebody said that war is declared by old men, but it has to be fought by young men. It's so unfair that the people, a little bit of the people who are pushing this, are people who have done well for themselves. They are quite well. If I look at the guys who are seated on this panel today, kama kuna mtu akona mtoto mkubwa hapa, probably ako high school. No one here has got a college kid. These are guys who are still actually trying to actually figure out where to go. But then they have got the burden. Millennials and the Generation Z are the people who are carrying the burden, the tax burden of this country. Yeah. So it's not that things are good, but doing things, or rather what we see now, will not help. Okay. And what we're going to see, Trevor, is that we're going to see the Busia effect coming on. Initially, people thought it was a reasonable way of dealing with things. But now, like, the people in Busia just had a new road. For the first time, you know, Busia looked like just a small town, really a shopping center. Now they've got a road that really makes it like it's a proper road, a dual one. And then somebody came banning it. People got angry and then they started chasing them. So we are going to see a lot of citizen-led response to this. And that in itself is not good because then you don't know what starts. Yeah. I do not think that we are in a good place. For all those that are actually pushing this polarization, it's time they pulled back. And for the young people out there, because they're the ones who go to the streets, unfortunately, the people pushing for this, young people feel the pain, yes. People asking them to go out there, then they are the ones who are actually going to bear the brunt. We still are the hope of this country. Okay. You are the future. You are actually the light that your children are looking into. So hold back. We can always solve these problems. As a country, we've always solved our problems without necessarily getting to the brink of sanity. Yeah. Do you support the protest, though, or not? I do not think that these protests are actually founded properly for what we have. Because, Trevor, the word protest in itself is not in the Constitution. When we speak about the right to picket and demonstrate, the authors of the Constitution knew why they didn't use the word protest, because the protest has got two meanings. A word protest has got two meanings. It could be peaceful and it could be violent. That's why they use the word demonstration and picketing. And presenting your complaints to public authorities. So demonstration, and it actually goes to qualify saying that you have to be peaceably and unarmed. We can get into, you are into the business of news, and you know a lot of times, including citizen crews, have actually been beaten a lot of times, and their property has actually been destroyed. Citizen is a citizen crew going about just doing their business. Are they a public authority? Is that part and parcel of what the Constitution speaks about demonstration? So it's easy to call, and those who call for them insist we are doing peaceful. And all of us know that it's actually used and it's actually a window through so many other things happen. So I do not think that the protests currently as are actually justified.
Okay.
Because 50% of what is being asked for, members of parliament can take care of it. 30% of what is actually being asked for, making it now a total of 70, can be taken care of by counties, and 20% can be dealt with by us individuals. Okay. So going to the streets in and of itself, you've seen maandamano. You saw what happened yesterday and the other day. Do you, I know you spend money, you do so many things. Have you seen anything that has gone down? If anything, the prices in so many sectors is actually going high. So the maandamano are actually not helping. And this is what the maandamano is actually helping. It's not helping the mwananchi whose cost of living is actually namfinya. It's actually helping the political class that want a table to be set in places. And when it is done, mwananchi will not be there. I'll just give you an example as I finish. That on 30th of January 2018, I was at home, I was just recovering from an election loss. Yeah. So I had gone to my mother's place. My father then was still alive, at least to help me feel like I'm still okay, I'm still normal, even after losing an election. So while I was there, I traveled from Mumias in Matungu. I came to Nairobi to actually attend the swearing in that happened on 30th of 2018. But when the handshake happened, I just watched on TV like any other person. So when they push, they consult us. But when they sit on the table, we will not be there.
Okay.
So, no, I do not think this maandamano is fair. It's not working in our interest. And at the end of the day, it will only mess things.
Okay. George, kuna swali moja niliwauliza na sikukuuliza. Una support hii maandamano ama usupport?
Ni support tu kidesign.
Kidesign. Kidesign gani?
Kama ndio njia governors anisikiza. Wacha tu equate. Can you live peaceful iko tu sawa. Okay. Lakini pia kuna tu wala who take advantage of situation.
Kama nyinyi na affect vipi saa zile kuna maandamano? Juu najua pia
kuna gange. So unajua kitu dinga zote park. Sasa pia mimi nagoya gari naweza vunjwa window. I maintain tu.
So umetulia tu uendi job ufanye yeni hiyo siku unaenda hivyo.
Ndio nimeenda hivyo.
Okay. Na mdosi na yeye na stories zake na do. Ama yeye hata pia anajua
kuna dosi wanaelewa, lakini pia kuna tu wale maangi anaweza kuambia wewe jaribu ukinuka wewe paki.
Anabaki risk life yako juu saa mdosi amesema uende.
Risk man.
Let's see what your feedback on you're saying at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's see, bring that up, like 2 of them, I believe. Let's see if we can sneak in 2 of them before we take a break, and then now come back to the young people and talk to them about how they're coping, where they started, where they were heading to, what challenges they're facing now. Bobo Tieno Wino says, I believe the government is moving into the right direction. That's why opposition leaders are trying to sabotage their measures to cushion the problems we are facing, and I support protest because it won't solve anything. Okay. Engineer Lazaro says, the nation taking dangerous routes to anarchy. I blame government operatives for applying combative approach on these issues. Wisdom should prevail, and they should be reminded that nothing dangerous as waging war on your own people. Okay, let's take a quick break, but I see Kev Muisio says, so sad at this age and time is the price of unga down after the protests. Okay, fundamental questions there. We're back with just a short while, all right? The young people are still here with us. We'll talk to them and find out from you as well at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak.